I'm Charlotte, the owner of Charlotte Makes, which is this YouTube channel that you're viewing here. And in this video, I'm going to describe my very non-glamorous and hard journey into med school. Um, let's just say that everything I've started in school was on the wrong foot, and it was a long way to get here. Let's say that much. Let's say that much, okay? So as I am recording this video, I am working on my laptop here on the corner on the side. So if I look away, there's going to be a lot of cutting and clipping because we're trying to like master this time management thing. I don't have it down. I went out last night, got back at 3 a.m. I had a great time, but now I am behind on schedule. Operation Lock-in is not doing real great. Anyway, I'm knitting on this brown sweater. She'll become a video later on, but here she is. It will be a video later on, I promise, but this thing is kind of cursed and I don't want to like send any photos or videos of this thing until it's like 100% done, until I'm able to wear it, you know, because I've restarted her like 6-7 times already. But yeah, let's start. So it started when I was a kid that I wanted to be a doctor. A 3-year-old should make that decision. Let's just say that. Little me did not realize what a big thing I just said. I did not know it was such a great commitment at the time because I was 3. Made a decision to become a doctor. Did I really make the decision? Or my parents were like, you used to play with your teddies in a weird way, and they were like, yeah, she probably wants to be a doctor. I don't know. My earliest memory was when I was 4 years old and I was playing hospital with my teddy bears, and I haven't thought of any other career path since. So, well, since I say that, but there has been a few detours before I got to this college and before I started medical school. So initially, where do I even want to start with the story? Let's start with primary school. So I was born in Limerick, the county I'm currently studying in. I knew no English. Yeah, I was born here, but I knew my cultural language, Edo. I still know my language, but I don't speak it as fluently as I did when I was a child, because back then my only social circle were mommy and daddy and myself. So that was my start. I did not know how to speak English. I knew how to write it, which was really funny, but I couldn't speak it. So if someone was to ask me, how were you, when I was 5? 5 is a big age, by the way, to not know a language you hear every day. So if someone was to ask me, Charlotte, how are you? I'll just parrot back, how are you? I would not compute what the question meant, nothing. Like, that was my skill level till I got to 6, almost 7 years old. So I couldn't communicate really well. And let's just say that English was not my best subject. So I already had a rocky start. I already had a very rocky start because a lot of the subjects here in Ireland, surprise, surprise, are taught in English, and Irish class was enemy number 1. And this will continue to be the trait of the whole story. I really wonder why I did not apply for exemption, but because I was born here, it's not allowed. I could barely speak English, speak about teaching Irish or French. This will continue. Common theme I have is I have a problem with languages, and it has slowed me down quite a bit. I can't deny it. It did slow me down. Primary school was an interesting time. I made close to no friends. I have one friend who survived those 8 years, and she is still my closest friend till this day. Shout out to Kalekshi. I love you. I'm actually surprised I made a friend in primary school, to be honest, because I barely spoke. I was very quiet. And because I was so quiet, thank you, Dad, he signed me up to speech and language classes because I would not talk. And here we are. I'm talking at a camera in fluent English. Times have changed. All that money you spent, Dad, was worth it. Um, let's see if I made a mistake. Yeah, I already made a mistake in this. Give me a second. Yeah, it's not busy at work right now, so I could get away with this. Here's the thing, I can knit without looking, but when I try to do too much too soon, there's like too much going on. I think I'm near my cable row as well, so I might have to take a break to count my rows. So bear with me. Bear with me. Next row, purl. Yeah, so that's where I started the mistake. Fair enough. Okay, we're back in the program. I don't remember where I was at. Oh yeah, speech and language classes. Not my favorite classes. Well, it was an interesting time. But it was also a time I realized I had a lisp, but that was more of a physical dental issue than I can't speak issue, which got fixed when I was 16 years old. I got braces and they were off at 20, just before my graduation. Thank God. But there was that. So yeah. So I was really good at maths, scary good at maths. Maybe because it's the only subject that did not really require an understanding of the English language. I knew numbers. I knew 3 minus 2 equaled 1. And I knew 3 times 5 equals 15. Child me was flying at that stuff. Unfortunately, there's only 3 languages really in primary school that they examine, and they don't even examine Irish that much, so it was math and English. So in 4th class, I don't know what happened, but the English test changed from basic comprehension to closed test exams. Now, if none of you had sat a closed test exam in primary school, you are so lucky, because they confused the ever-living daylights out of me. So basically, it's a paragraph with a bunch of blocked off, like erased words, and they tell you to fill the gap with the best word, you know, the best word. My mind did not understand that concept. So I often just written the first word that came to mind, even though it wasn't the best word written down, and I almost got held back a year because of that in primary school. So that was a great start. Because I was born in Limerick, I was actually a whole year behind my whole year group in terms of age. So I'm youngest in the class. I barely spoke English. And this kind of fate carried me on throughout school. So I almost got held back in 4th class because I borderline failed the test. I got 40%. And they had to put me in English support classes. And I think it was like 5th class, I started to cop on and be like, okay, you know what? I might not be the best at this language subject, but I'll have to like fake it till I make it, you know? So 5th and 6th class were easy breezy fine. And then I entered first year of secondary school. This is where they had all the subjects, and I came across science. Oh my God. I loved science, but I loved the chemistry and bio side. Ironically, despite loving maths, I did not like the physics side of science. And that's where my grades started to tank out a B and never rose above a B. And to be fair, junior cycle does not really stop you in terms of getting to college. But in my school specifically, if you are failing those subjects, they will drop you down to ordinary level, and that will affect how many points you can get your leaving cert. And that's another can of worms that I'll open later down in this video. So junior cert came around, and let's just say that I do not like physics. Bio and chem, great subjects. And I learned straight away how this is related to medicine. And I got obsessed, guys. I would study science for hours. I would in my free time study neurology and nephrology. I would be studying the most random bodily systems in my free time. But at the same time, I was neglecting other subjects that had a lot of essay value, like your history. Geography I was surprisingly good at. I don't know why till this day why I was really good at such a subject, but it was really good. I was really good at geography. I got a lot of awards in geography for it. I was really slow in the uptake with junior cycle English. By the time I had to sit it, it became common level, and grades didn't matter at that point. I got high merit. Woohoo! I still don't know what I've written on that paper. if I was to read that paper today, I would probably be like, yeah, she deserved to fail. Um, I don't know. Maybe we're all really bad that year, and they took pity on us and gave nicer grades. Some years they did do that. Um, so yeah, I really enjoyed science, but the physics held back my grade big time. Um, Kind of copped on my English and my Irish. Yeah, every time I saw an Irish paper, it stayed at a C. But every time I had to study for Irish, I would have like quite a bit of panic around it. I think in my Leaving Cert years, the panic borderline became panic attacks, but I digress. I had asthma pump for that. Um, yeah, like Irish system, they really want you to learn Irish till you're finished school. And I don't think that worked well in my case at all. So I got into Leaving Cert years. Now, in third year, I said I wanted to become an accountant because I realized, like 13 years old, how old was I in third year again? 14 years old, I realized how much work it was to become a doctor. Okay? I clocked that I have to be probably one of the top people in my class to make it into medicine straight away. I never heard of graduate entry medicine at that point. I didn't know that was a thing. So a lot of pressure was on in fifth year. And now I look back, that was so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. Like the stress these subjects will give me was not okay. Like I'll have so much acne on my face, hair falling out, teeth hurting. I was gaining weight despite eating the way I was the year before. Like it was just not a good look. Um, but fifth year, I was in the trenches. And that was the year I had to move away from home. So, like, I wasn't even near school, really. I was a 30-minute drive away. So, like, every single morning in fifth year, I'll be at school at 7:30. School starts at 8:30. Yeah. So, like, my mom would drop me off at 7:30, go to work. And I had an hour to kill every morning. At school. I became besties with the year head. Miss Keene, if you're watching, thank you so much. Like she was like my mother at school. Like she was the reason I did not I did not stray. Like I would like read in the hallways and stuff until like I got the initiative to maybe knock on this woman's office and ask for the key so I can like, you know, enter my classroom and just chill in there and study for that hour in the morning. And surprise, surprise, she allowed it. Heck, it became my job. Like every morning, I would knock at her door, get the key, and open all the doors for all the classrooms so she wouldn't have to do it. No, she never asked me to do this. I just did it. And it became my job. I should have got paid, but I regrets. Like, it became my job, so it was great. And this was in fifth year, and this was like before I knew she was going to become my biology teacher. Miss Keene in biology, she teaches biology like a queen. Like the bio classes I will have from her, oh, I learned so much. Like, if you have her notes, you're getting a H1 in that exam. If you can apply what her notes said, write it word for word on that paper, you get a H1, and that's exactly how I did it. I got a H1 for the whole thing. Chemistry, on the other hand, ooh, I will not name drop this teacher, but let's just say his teaching style was not good for me. My grades skirted around a 70%, never got higher, never got lower than that because I tried my hardest to understand what was going on, but I just couldn't understand it. Chemistry is not hard, guys. I left school, sat my GAMSA, and realized he was well on overcomplicating the subject. So there goes a second H1 that I could have gone. By the way, I was a 2020 group, so I didn't actually have to sit my Leaving Cert. But if there were subjects that the grade was too low for, I would have to resit it because automatically I don't even have enough to enter my course. You know, like this is where problems started to crop up. So English, I had a total of, in those 2 years from 5th to 6th year, I had a total of 4 different teachers. And the last teacher, he was brand new. He was fresh out of college. But he was okay. Like, he was not the worst out there. Like, he will teach the English. By the time he came in, we already knew what we were up to. We had our acts done, we had our stories done, we already studied Hamlet, so there wasn't much work for him to do. It was really just to correct the work and perfect our work. Like, that was it. Give feedback and hope the student applies it. That's literally what his job was. So what I would do was to like do questions of the weekend and give him like the spare copy to correct, and he will give me like feedback over those essays and stuff. And that's how I got my H2 in English. Now, maths. Oh my god. Remember at the beginning I told you I was really good at maths? That ended in 5th year. When calculus started being brought in and all these like letters in mathematics, algebra was fine. But once they started like going into like integrals and whatever the freaking squiggle whatever that is, yeah, my ability to do math tanked from there. I used to be really good at it, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing myself struggle. I would spend like hours studying math and still did not get the answer, did not get it. Like, the maths that made the most sense to me were like trigonometry, trig, you know what I mean, like the triangles, or like geometry was really good. Basic algebra was really good, or every time I had to do a simultaneous equation, I would squeal. Like, those things were so easy for me, so I just did those questions first. But because we're in 6th year, almost college level, they expect us to do a lot of calculus, which was a lot of paper 1. Paper 1, I would borderline get a C, almost get a D. Yeah. And then paper 2 will drag my grade up to a C. Now, because in Ireland, if you did higher level maths, you get an extra 25 points. My mind was like, just skirt around a C and you get the grades you needed, you get the points you needed regardless. So that's exactly what happened in my predicted. I got predicted a C plus 25 points, which gave me around like 86, 88, which was a H2 score. So I didn't really care too much about it. But geography, oh my god, this teacher did me so dirty. Like, literally, like, I'm still pissed about it till this day. I could have gone into radiography straight away, which is, she's literally the only reason I didn't make it at school the first time round, okay? So, she's new. Mind you, she came in somewhere around January in 6th year. Like, the work was done for you, girl. All you had to do is give out the right grades. That was it. We were not behind a curriculum, really. Well, actually, we were. Oh, that's later down the story. But, like, we were on track on the curriculum. So it was really just for her to finish it off, tie off the ends, give out the grades. That was it. So, when I got a H3 on my predicted, my jaw dropped. Okay? Because from the end of 5th year till that point she came in, till even after that, all I got was H1s. So I don't know where she got a H6 from. No, a H3 from. How do you... 30% is a lot. Like, what happened there? I went on to sit this repeat paper, finishing the last 8th of the curriculum and getting a H1 in my own reset. When I got the grade, I was happy, but I was pissed because I could have gotten in straight away. But you know what? What's done is done. If I see you again in real life, there will be some words being spoken. I'll say that. I think I'll just walk away, to be honest. Like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. But yeah, like, that was just... I'm still mad to this day, actually. I'm still really angry. Because I'll flick back my notebooks. H1. How do you predict a H3? That's 30% below 100. Like, that's a big drop, lady. Like, that's a big drop. Like, what you thinking? Anyway, what were my other grades? Irish, H4. For a language I was not good at, wasn't fluent in, couldn't really speak, couldn't really write, couldn't really listen to. H4, I could take it. It was okay. 60%, yeah, sure. it was not going to account for my grades anyway. When I asked my year ahead to drop that subject to an ordinary level of Irish because I did not see a point in putting effort in a language I could barely speak anyway and it will not contribute, I knew that it will not contribute at all. She said, Charlotte, you got a 60%. And that's an 01, so you're well capable for high level Irish. Just because you're at the border doesn't mean you should do it. Like this is important. Just because you're at the border doesn't mean you should do it. You don't have to. You don't have to. I could have strategically dropped that subject and maybe put more effort into mathematics, which will pay off in the long term, or put more effort into chemistry, which would also pay off in the long term. Yeah. I was talking about, what was I even talking about? Irish. Right, so that counted for chemistry, which was H3, geography, which was H1, when I sat it again, biology, H1 from the gate, maths, H4, Irish was predicted at H4, I think. So there were those grades. French, I tried. Again, languages are not my thing. Languages are not my thing. It hasn't been my thing since I was born. Seriously. So, like, I took that H3 and was like, okay. I could do that. I could do a H3. Yeah. It contributed just a little to my final grade. For my points for my leaving cert. What else did I do? There's another subject I'm seriously forgetting. I did 2 sciences in an option, which I've talked about. Maths, Irish, English, which I got a H2, which was the H2 predicted, and I wasn't going to resit an English paper, it was a good grade. Why would I? That kind of English and French. Okay, so that was all my subjects that I had to do throughout leaving cycle. I got a total of 533 points, which for a normal student who wanted to not do med school and do something else, that was loads to work with. That was plenty. You can pick any course you want, but I needed 550 to like give me a chance going into med school straight away, and I didn't get that. I got 530. Did I say 33? It was actually 534 points. They were the points I had, and that was after I resat my paper. So initially I was given 510 points, and this is how I missed my chance to get into radiography my first time round. So 16 years old, finished college. I had no graduation because of pandemic, and I'm sitting at home waiting for offers to come in, and I get pharmaceutical science. I sat on my bed for a good 10 minutes and there were no tears coming out. I was angry. I was like, pharmaceutical science. How far down my list was that? It was number 9 out of 10 options. I had medicine. Then pharmacy, which was like 4 options. I don't know why pharmacy was on there. I had no interest in it. And then I had pharmaceutical science. Another option where I don't know why it got onto my CAO, okay? Like 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds shouldn't be responsible for picking their subjects like that. I should have been checked, screened. I don't know who to blame. I have no one to blame but myself, really. What is this? I think it started recording. Yeah. So back to the story. I just took a break there because I have to do something on my computer for work. Back to my story. I saw pharmaceutical science and I was like, yeah, something about my points don't make sense here. I look at my results and then I realized geography was docked to H3 instead of a H4 predicted. H1 predicted, geez, my brain. And yeah, I literally went downstairs to my mom and dad in pandemic, strict Nigerian parents, and said, I'm not going to college this year, I'm going to reset my leaving cert. And I went back upstairs. I am shocked I did not get in so much trouble for that, but they took it on great. Like, they were like, okay, makes sense. It's a pandemic, you're only 16, you graduated a whole year early, so you do you. And then I went on to get Institute of Education Grinds to try and plug the hole that was there. So I resat my maths, chemistry, and geography. I look back now and wonder why I even tried to do maths. Chemistry I can understand. Geography though, yeah, that was necessary. And then when I got my results from my research, got a H2 on geography, and then the other two grades did not really change. So those teachers were spot on. I had to give it to them. They knew what they were on about. But for geography, I had to like cover a whole eighth of the course on my own. And it was a lot. There was a lot left behind. Like there was a lot of population geography left behind. And like the like the huge essay at the end of our geography papers that's like 4 or 5 pages long. I had to learn those essays. She provided them, don't get me wrong, but I had to learn those essays and I had 8 weeks to prep. Yeah. And somehow, up to this point, I've not mentioned my HPAT, so I flunked my HPAT twice. First time, I think I got 120 points, which is not enough. You need a 730, what? I was in 2020, so it's not, it was like 731 to get into the lowest college here. And I was nowhere near it. And then the second time, I got 110 points from my HPAT, which was even worse. So like either way, I wasn't going to make it in as a direct student. But I skimmed it into radiography. I was 1 point above the minimum. Imagine my luck. I had 534 points. The entry points for radiography, the year I had it, was 533. Yeah, that was funny. So I go into radiography thinking that this would be a great, like, detour for med, being like, yes, this would be like a great career and I might like continue this for the rest of my life and forget medicine, and what kids do. You try and like make yourself feel better. Because technically in my head I already failed once and twice actually. What difference would it make now? So first year happened, and that was the nail in the coffin for not wanting to do radiography any longer. So I came across one practice tutor that was really mean. She made a lot of people cry. She made me cry on my first day of placement. At least I didn't cry at the hospital. Like, I would be so embarrassed if I did. But imagine like having a freshly 18. Like I just turned 18 before I started the course, okay? Like graduated school at 16, turned 17 in the summer break, 17 pandemic year, I had a gap year, and then I turned 18 maybe 3 weeks before I started college to do radiography in UCD. So I was freshly 18, okay? Like I had 4 months at this adult thing, at this adult run, and I'm in the hospital. It's the 4th of Jan in 2022? No, 2021. 4th of Jan in 2021. I've woken up at like 5:30 a.m. to make it in on time for this placement, and they put me in fracture clinic. So, which means that I had no experience with the actual x-ray room itself. I had experience with the portable x-ray machine. Let me take you a little, I'm gonna have to like do something. Okay, we're back into the program now. So I will not be, I have a break at work, so I have 1 hour, so I will not be interrupted for the next hour. Because I knew it was going to take longer than an hour to film, so I was like, let me just start filming, and if I have to work, take breaks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'm nowhere near a repeat. What am I counting? Anyway, so I'm freshly 18, woken up the crack of dawn into this placement. They put me in fracture clinic, so I mastered this portable x-ray machine, okay? I knew every single control, KVP, MAS, SID, like I knew it all, okay? I knew how to like x-ray a wrist, I knew how to x-ray a hand, a foot, a knee, like an elbow, like I knew it all by the end of the day. I thought, yes, I've made it. And then she pulls me out at the end of the day at 3:30 p.m., puts me in like one of the x-ray rooms they had. I think I was in outpatient room 2, or they call it room 3 over there. I don't remember really anymore. It's been a while. It's been 5 years. Oh, it's been 5 years. Damn. Anyway, it's been a while and I still remember it like it was yesterday. Like that's how traumatic that was. So she pulls me into this room and she said, okay, get the room set up for a, now we needed a grid. So I think it was a pelvis or something. I don't remember anymore, but it was something that needed a grid. This is where it started. Okay. So I start setting up the room, being brand new at an environment. Like I've never been in the hospital before, never had to work for that long period before, never had held a job at that point. Like my first job was a summer after first year radiography. So I had never had a job before. And the closest thing I had to a job was babysitting my brothers, which is nowhere close to a clinical environment. So here I am setting up the room. Of course, I'm setting up a snail's pace. I'm 18, first job ever. I'm new. It's the first day. You don't expect you don't expect them to move like they've been in it for years. I don't know what was in this lady's head, but she expected me to be in it for years. She basically yelled at me for not being fast enough. And then I did not know what the grid looked like because duh. It's day 1. And she yelled at me for it. Yeah. It was a great environment to learn in. Oh, girl. Hopefully she looks back at this and regrets her actions. But I figured out, I learned what the grid was by the end of the day. Okay? And we x-rayed the patient together. She was not very nice about it. But, okay, day's over. She sends me home early because she can clearly tell I'm getting upset. I hop on the bus, and the bus home is like an hour and a half on the bus. So I was holding my tears in for an hour and a half. I got home, lied in bed, and my dad goes, how was your first day in placement? I started bawling. I was crying so hard, and he was so concerned because I barely cry. I haven't cried like that since I failed maybe like a stupid class test, and that was when I was 8 years old. Like that was the last time I cried like that, okay? But I bawled. I cried like a baby. It was so bad. Like I still remember, like he was so concerned. Now this man, he's like number one nonchalant. He does not give a damn. He does not care. He is all about that education. You know, like none of that, like he does not care about emotions. For a short while, he's like kind of like emotionally distant parent, but now he's improved. Like he's actually been trying to fix that. But oh, he was so concerned. Like he could not console me nothing. Like he was like, you know what? It was your first day. Have dinner and go to sleep. And he went off to work. As he should, because he had a family to support. But yeah, that was my first day in radiography. And then every other day after that, I did not want to be there. Surprise. So I was actually counting down the days till I could change hospital placement, like hospital entirely. Like I did not want to be near the hospital, not even work in it. Like even till this day, like when the jobs for that hospital came out, I didn't even apply because I did not want to be near it. I did not want to be near a hospital that badly because she made it such a horrible experience. And that was my first introduction to radiography as a course, as a career. That was my first like proper, like that was day 1, and that was how I was introduced into it. Mind you, it was a backup. So like already I didn't really want to be there, but I wanted to give it a shot. So when that happened, I was like, okay then, how do I get into med? That was where my brain raced off to. Like that was it for me. That was where the nail in the coffin was done. I already did 6 months of this course. I didn't want to do it anymore because of that experience alone. And honestly, that continued until second year. Like she did not change. Like I think we had 2 tutors, and I think they kind of sorted themselves in a way they could figure out what students can handle her shit and what students cannot. I was the cannot group. Like I used to be like so sensitive around like people like that. Like I used to cry a lot, like when people like are mean like that. But now I can, I might have to like buzz that word out. But you get the gist. Like now I'm the person doing the bullying. I feel bad. Like some days, like no, low key, like I'll when I'm done, I apologize straight away. But now I'm the bully. Like some days I'm like, you know what? You've been teasing me enough. Now it's your turn. It's back to you now. So that was my first experience with the radiography, and that ended that very quickly. She was a backup, and she stayed that way. Um, what was I gonna say now? So third year comes around, we change hospital, and I'm in a different clinical site. Environment was nicer. It was better. I learned so much quicker in that environment. And by the time I was done there, I was pretty much qualified. I knew what I was doing. I knew like all my stuff, knew all my things, passed all my classes. So I was like, okay, we're ready sailing. Like I wouldn't mind working here. And then another incident happened that really like cemented that fact that maybe you're not ready yet to really work here, you know? So it was another thing like that, another incident that happened that really just cemented that maybe this is not the career for me. Like from, it's not even like the job part of you part, it's just like the people the job attracts. Okay, well, let's say it as it is. This job loves attracting kind of shitty people. I don't know why, I don't know how. It's a healthcare career. You would think that people who are really empathetic and really nice come to this job. Yes, you're gonna come across asshole doctors, but you're also gonna come across a lot of really good ones. But like at this point of the career, I was like, there's a lot of you here that really just make the place miserable. Okay, so you have your ones that mope and moan. That's in every job. Like we get it. You don't want to be there. And then you have like your one-off ones that were racist, and they will like giggle and laugh at me, like I'm not black. So there was that. Or some that were ableist. You work in a hospital. What? Or you will have your ones that would mock people in pain. That one, yeah, no. Like, hopefully I never come across that woman again. Like, that was unique in the worst way. Um, yeah. Fourth year. Yeah, so I almost did not pass my course. So I failed my final. If you get it, you get it. Like it was my last exam till graduation, and I had a assessor that failed basically everyone in our station. So if you got her that day, you failed. I don't know what happened to her that day, if she had a bad day, whatever. We all failed. So like in my head, crap. How am I gonna like graduate on time to enter med this year in this round? Because I already had my GAMSAT done. I did not know my grades though at that point. That really messed with me a little bit. But because I did my GAMSAT like 2 months before that final. So like I was already stressing out because the results were due the like 3 weeks after that exam. So I failed that exam. And the next day, my clinical practice tutor kind of got a whiff that there was something wrong. So my classmate that also had her, she also failed. And she told her about it, but I wasn't going to tell her about it because it's kind of embarrassing because why did I fail? Clinicals, I'm grand. I could work as one. Why did I fail? You know, like, how can she tell me I'm not fit to be a radiographer? You know what I mean? When I knew what I was doing. Yeah. So she told her I had the same thing, like the same tutor, like the same assessor, and this clinical tutor, bless her heart, I love her. Like she's like another mom. Like literally, like if you like been listening to this story, like in the background, like whoever is like really motherly, like loving, and like really care, like they're extremely empathetic. I call them like another mom, like another mother. I had a few of those in my life, which is great. I had a couple moms in primary, a mom in secondary, and a mom in clinical, which was great because it felt like you had someone in your corner, you know, like someone you could trust and tell everything to. So she came up to me and she's like, Charlotte, did you pass? And I cried. I bawled. I was in tears. Like, she knew the answer. So we just focused on trying to like fix whatever mistake was occurring at the time. And I passed the second time round with no problem at all. And we graduated. Yay! So got my results, got a 2-1. Skirted at that 2-1, let's be for real. Like, third year was a rough time. My grades took a beating. I was in a job that I really should have quit a while ago. Like, it was taking a lot of my mental load. It was stressing me out. It was making me tired. I had management that were very unsupportive. So, like, my grades just took a swan dive. Like, a big one. So, fourth year, it was not just the stress of the GAMSAT that was really killing me. It was the stress of making up the GPA that I failed to make up in third year, because it was like 50-50 split. So if you mess up in third year, you have to really try in fourth year to close the gap. So that was what was going on. So it was a really emotional time. So yeah, so I graduated radiography at 21 years old. I got my core license to practice radiography in October of that year. And I got into medicine very soon afterwards. The thing was, there was this weird transition in July to August, you know, before they give your offers out. I think they gave my offers really early, like late July. So like that weird transition where I had a lot of like job interviews lined up, and I was like, do I take these job interviews? And like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And just say, hey, I got a new opportunity to do something else in a different county. Unfortunately, like, do I take myself out that way? Or do I just not bother applying at all? I got 2 job interviews. And then 2 days later, after accepting those interviews, I got an offer to study medicine here in Limerick. And I had to decline those jobs offers immediately. And I was like, okay, yeah, well, it is what it is. And then in August, I changed from a physical role in my current company to doing a remote customer service role, which is what I am currently doing. And it's worked out well so far. So instead of me to enter medicine at the age of 17, I entered medicine 5 years later at the age of 22. So it really didn't change that much. Like 5 years, oh, I could have been a doctor by now. Let me not think about that. Yeah, I could have been a doc by now, but 22-year-old doctor, isn't that a bit young? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you'll be finished medicine at like 22, 23. I think that's too young. Like, what do you know? Like, you had no life experience yet. Yeah, you have no life experience. Anyway, but yeah, that's how I got into med. It's a long story. There's a lot of ups and downs. There were a lot of like failed exams here and there. Like, I was so close to not making it here. And every single day I wake up in this campus, like wake up in this room and go to class. I'm like, girl, you were like one test away from not making it. Be happy you got in. Like, I have to remind myself, because like some days I'm like, oh, do I belong here? But then I'll go to class and then I know what's going on. I know what's happening. I know my stuff. Like, you passed your exam, you got the results, and you made it in. That should have been like testament enough that you're smart enough to be here. But it's like sometimes imposter syndrome like gets in its way, whatever. But yeah, that concludes my story as to how I got into medical school. If you really enjoyed like this talking and knitting video, there will be a few more of these in the future, like more like subjects I really do like. Oh, I messed up. On subjects I really do like, you know, why do we like, you know, repetitive motion, or like there's another video idea I was thinking about, like a little recap on semester 1, because semester 1 I did have a lot of video footage, but I did not post a single thing. I couldn't edit to save my life. Like, you could like scroll back my channel and like watch the first few videos and you can understand why I was not posting as much, because editing was just not my strong suit back then. But now I think I've gotten the hang of it. I think. But yeah, so like that concludes this video. If you really enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And please comment below what other videos you would like to see from me. And yeah, see you guys later. Right, I can't even swag, I can't even cuss. Right, let's start again, shall we? Hello, I'm Ooh, it's off.